Hello and welcome. Hey, Martha. Hey, Bethany. How's everyone doing today? It's Friday. Yay. I'm excited. End of the week. What's going on, my friends? Are we ready to do some journaling? I know some of you were with us last night. Let me know if you can hear me, by the way, making sure my volume is normal because I have no idea sometimes. Awesome. And drop a hello in the chat. I see a few other bubbles down there and let me know where you are. I'm in New York. I understand. I just looked at the thermometer. It's 67 degrees outside. I'm still wearing a sweatshirt because it's colder inside the house. How does that happen, right? I don't know how that works. I should open up the windows and let in some hot air, I guess. All right, friends, we're going to do some journaling. And I was trying to think before we got started what kind of a letter we could write today. If anybody has any thoughts, put it in the chat. If not, I'll make a suggestion. But I also have a deck that I pulled a card from because I decided I have to start playing with my decks since I have so many. Bethany says in New York, it's only 43 up there by you. Why so? Hey, Maisha, how are you, my friend? Maisha is an amazing teacher here if you don't know her. Bethany, remind me where in New York you are because that is a 24-degree difference from where I am. So I'm definitely not heading up north. I'm staying here where it's warmer. Hi, Joanne, another wonderful teacher. How are you, my friend? I have this deck that I love. Oh, that's right. You're in Rochester. I forgot. Oh, it's storming by you. Ooh, I have like this beautiful sunny 67-degree perfect day. And I've been sitting in the house because I'm working. So as soon as I'm done, I should go outside because I'm still wearing this sweat jacket because it's colder in the house than it is outside. It's crazy. Hi, Annie, my friend. How are you? So yeah, I was going to share this other deck that I have that I bought, I don't know, sometime last year when I was buying decks like crazy. It's called Believe in Your Own Magic by Amanda Lovelace. And I got to show you this deck. I love it because it's made with real women. And by real women, I mean women that look like me, curves. Check this one out, this mirror one. That was like the first card I ever saw. And I was like, yep, I want that deck. I love real women. All right, let me see some of the comments I'm missing here. Okay. Maisha feeling magical. I love that. I'm feeling magical, yes. Joanne, you're feeling better today. Your life-threatening storm hasn't arrived. Oh no, are you having a bad storm? Annie, you like that too, right? Yaima, you have this deck, do you? The other day you were using a tarot deck that reminded me of this one, and I went to look for it. Yes, it's called Believe in Your Own Magic. I love it. And like I said, the first time I saw it, I saw this woman and I was like, I need to have this deck because I love the real representation of women because, this is what I look like in sweatpants. Curves. Hello, Mira. Hello, Jess. Let's see who else do we have joining us here. If I missed you in the chat, if I missed saying hello, I apologize. I'm trying to get everybody. But I did pull a card for us before I started. I was showing you that one because because that's my favorite one. Well, so far. I haven't seen the entire deck. But I pulled a card for us before I got started and I got number 14 and it says thorns. Weave together the crown you deserve. And I apologize because I was working, so I didn't set up my second camera. That's the one I got, number 14. Let's see. There we go. Now it's focused. Weave together the crown you deserve. Hello, Z. You have this deck too? How does everybody have this deck? And I only saw it last year and ran out to buy it. You were all holding out on me. So number 14 says this right here is the ultimate card of celebration. Here, I'm going to hold it up while I read so you can get a good look at it. There we go. Oh, I'm going to try and get the camera to focus now. Oh, there it is. It focused. Okay. It says this right here is the ultimate card of celebration, not just of yourself. You're amazing though, but of those around you. When you're done putting on your crown each and every morning, go and help someone else put on theirs. You have so much love and wisdom to spread, so don't waste it. Self love is essential. A community is too. Whoa, it's focusing in and out. That made me a little dizzy. I'm sorry. I love that. I love that card because I love the idea of self love and not just, fixing your own crown, but fixing the crown for those around you as well. Bethany says Amanda Lovelace is a poet and all her work is on changing fairy tales to empowering stories. I knew of her that way before her decks came out. I had no idea who she was, Bethany. Thanks for letting me know. Jazz says, Hi, Violet. My first time here. I've heard you before on Blossom Violet. Looking forward to it. Oh, hi, Jazz. I'm so happy that you joined us. Yeah, I've been doing these weekly journaling sessions, and I call them letters from the heart because I like writing letters in my journal. And that's what I'm encouraging everyone to do. Yeah, Bethany, thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. I didn't know. I know a few other people. Let me scroll back up. I know a few other people here said that they also have her deck. I'm looking over there because I'm dual streaming and I just saw some comments. Hello, Kate, and hello, Martha. Yeah, but a couple of you said that you have her deck, and I think that's awesome. I don't even know how. I don't remember who or where I saw it. It might have just been in my usual, looking at Hay House, which I've stopped doing because Hay House would send me emails. I would go look at their sales, and you know, 60 some odd deck later, I was like, I have to stop buying decks. Joanne says she loves that deck too. I love that. I love that you all knew about her. I had no idea. Mira says, I had trouble with it because the card names weren't aligned with the messages for me. Like this card is about celebration, but it's named Thorns. Oh, I get you. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it is kind of, I didn't even look at it that way. I guess I'm wondering if Thorns is because it's about fixing your crown. It says, weave together the crown you deserve. And it's interesting that in the picture, they are making their crown out of roses. So, sure, you have to take the thorns out, right? But yeah, I get what you're saying. Whoa. There we go. We're focused now. Sort of. Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm thinking that the thorns in the crown are what you're eliminating because I would not be sticking a crown in my head with thorns. You have to excuse Onyx. He's barking at Amazon. I just looked in the camera. They're dropping off a package. What do you all think about that? That's a good point. I never thought about that. Now, the other one, the one that I like, is Mirror. That one that I showed before. That one I kind of get, but yeah, it's interesting. It confused you with the dual message. Could have been named Roses. Yeah. I bet you there's a meaning behind that. And I am not, honestly, I didn't think about it that deeply. So if anybody has a suggestion as to why they named it Thorns, I would love to hear it because now you have fascinated me. Bethany said it made my brain tired. Mira says, Bethany, it made my brain tired. Rebecca says, my mom used to say when a person does a good deed, they earn a jewel in their crown. Yeah, I like that. I like that too. Yeah, I'm curious. Mira says, I had trouble. This card, yeah, the thorns. Mira, I wouldn't say you're too traditional. I am. Sometimes I like things to be very direct. So maybe that's what you wanted rather than like this double meaning. I have a tendency to let things like just go over my head. So I'm with you there. I think because I saw thorns, but then I saw roses and I read the description, I didn't even think about it. Maisha says, I think it's a shift in perspective or an expanded perspective. I think you're right, Maisha. Like I'm thinking there's a deep meaning to it, and I didn't look that far because I pulled out the card and I read it and I was like, oh, I love that. I didn't even think about the thorns. Joanne says maybe this true joy and triumph are earned through overcoming chat. Joanne, that is the most perfect answer right there. Joanne, get up here on the camera with me, okay? In fact, Joanne, I am seriously going to invite you to one of these one day because I like having conversations with other people. You know, that's why I love collaborations. Because for me to be here on screen talking, to the screen by myself is a little strange for me sometimes. Dee says that resonates so much. I just listened to IT teacher Jessica Amos. I love Jessica Amos. Her lives often include reading poems, yes, and she will publish her own. Oh, really? So maybe she's a perfect add on to your music gatherings. I don't know that she does music. Does Jessica do music? I'm guessing you're referring to or maybe you're thinking of the poets and musicians that I did, which I would like to do another one of those. That was a really nice session. Joanne says, my hubby says I need to publish my poems. I agree, Joanne, you should. I think anybody who writes poetry, who writes anything, should publish. Yeah, Z. Does Jessica play music? Z, I didn't know that. Hello, Jane. Did I say it right? Jane from the Netherlands. Thank you for joining us. And Bethany says there's a card called Red, which the color usually represents anger, but the flavor text says forgive. Oh, is that in this deck too? Okay, after I get off of this live, I'm going to be going through all these cards because clearly, even though I always go through them, oh, I see it. There's a gold one. All right, now you have me fascinated because you know how I love oracle cards and I love to learn about them. Like I could sit here and just look at every single card. Okay, awesome. I said it right. Good, good, good. Sometimes I put a little Spanish spin on people's names too. So you have to correct me if I'm wrong. Because like Mira, I'm saying Mira definitely in Spanish. And as soon as I saw Johnny, that's how I said it. Z says punk music, but I remember the live with poem reading. Okay, Z, as much as I think that's lovely, I don't know that the music that Blossom and Matt and Juan would work with punk music. I don't know about that collaboration, but I would definitely invite Jessica to do a Poets and Musicians. And actually, Jessica was with me. It's over a year already. She did a live with Lou Redmond, Darius, Sakib, and Charles. That was like September of not this past year, but the year before. So it's been a while. But they were a fun bunch to have a collaboration with. They're good friends, and they're all teachers on Insight Timer. Joanne says red is an emotion, not just rage. That's true, right? Red could be a lot of things. It could be a chakra. So who knows what that was about? All right, y'all are distracting me, but I love it because I swear I do these things because I learned so much from all of you. And that's why I have to keep using these oracle decks that I have because I'm trying to learn more about them and just hanging out here with you, all of you, listening to what you have to say. I'm learning more about them. Bethany says, let's try it. I think it's clever and it's definitely the author's style. Okay, Bethany, let's try what? Because I already am like 3 comments ahead and I'm like, wait, what were we talking about? There's something you should know about me too. I'm scattered like a squirrel sometimes. Like I see a squirrel, like the dog. Suddenly lose my focus completely. The punk poetry? I'll have to have a think on that one, Bethany. I don't know that I know a lot about punk poetry. And I like to know a little bit about the lives that I collaborate with. I mean, you all know that I would just throw something out there without knowing what I'm doing. But yeah, I don't know how the punk poetry would work. We'll think about that one. However, for today, I was thinking about writing a letter to ourselves. And that's one of my favorites because I saw, and I know some of you have seen it, but I'm going to show this clip. I saw a clip of Viola Davis telling her daughter that you have to be the love of your own life. And I took that so to heart. I think it was a couple of years ago that I saw it. I took it so to heart that it became like my thing. I started writing about it in my journal. I started ending every journal entry with I am the love of my life. And I have to tell you that once I started doing that, I stopped expecting other people to make me happy, particularly my husband. He's a really good guy, but I had a lot of expectations on how he should be making me happy. And then I was like, wait a minute. She's right. I am the love of my own life and I can make me happy. And so far, so good. I'm going to show you that little clip. Viola, I know I have it here because I love it. I'm going to mute myself for a minute. Oops. Okay, give me a second. Oh, I know why it didn't work. Hello.
But what I tell my daughter is, Genesis, you are the love of your life. You have to start right now to have a radical love affair with yourself, to be in touch with your inner voice, to really be aware when friendships come in and out of your life, what you like, what you don't like, what's crossing the boundaries, what's making you feel bad, what not feel bad, and you honor that. And through that, that is the seed where everything grows. No one ever told me that. No one ever told me that I was the love of my life. I just counted myself out. If I have to be small in order to build up a relationship, I'll make myself small. If I have to sacrifice my needs for others, that's a big one for women. We are considered stronger when we sacrifice our needs. I said, Genesis, no, do not do that. You are the love of your life. You and you alone.
That was it. It was a very, oops, sorry. It was a very short clip, but I loved it. And it made such an impression on me. Like I said, that's how I end my journal every day. Every time I write in it, I'm such a, child at heart. Oh, you're welcome, Maisha. I'm such a child at heart. I like to make little pictures in my journal, but I am not an artist. So I just make a little sun and I write in the middle of the sun, I am the love of my life. And it makes me feel fantastic. So I encourage you all to be the love of your own life. You've never seen it before. Okay, good. I'm glad that you saw it now. I don't even remember how I came across it. I love Viola Davis, and I just happened to see it one day, and I have since watched it, I don't know, a million times. Maybe not a million, but pretty close. And I share it as much as I can. And I wanted to share it today because I want us to do a little journaling, and I want your letter to be in that perspective. You are the love of your life. Like, imagine how much that changes everything. Like I said, my interactions with my husband, who I was expecting him to, make me happy all the time. And why doesn't he, notice my hair or say these things to me or treat me the way he did when we first started dating? And then I was like, wait, why do I need somebody to do that for me? Why don't I do that for myself? Why can't I be the love of my own life? And I even tell him this all the time too. I shared that video with him, told him that I decided I was the love of my own life. He said nothing. He's a great guy. He's very quiet. He just looks at me. He knows sometimes I say crazy things. He humors me, which is fine. I've told him, if you don't have anything to say, that's fine. Don't say anything. But I let him know I'm the love of my own life. He can buy me jewelry. I will continue to be the love of my own life. Kate, I'm so happy, and Martha, Bethany, all of you. I'm so happy that this, it was very impactful for me. I'm happy that it's resonating with a lot of you. So I'm gonna put a little music on, and I'm going to insist that we do a little journaling. I'm gonna give us a little time. I know usually I ramble on, and we never get to the journaling, and I'm trying to get a grip on that because I can ramble, introvert that I am. Of course, what other song could I play? But should I do Blossom's music? We'll do, I always do Blossom's music, so we'll do Blossom's music. I'm gonna give us I'm going to give us like 10 minutes. I don't want to hear any excuses that you didn't have enough time to write. Turn up the music. Hi, Bex. I'll put it in the chat what we're doing too. One more quote to add for self-love. I learned I'm the one I've been waiting for. Yeah, I love that. I love that Carly says that too. Yeah. All right, friends. Let's do some journaling. Write a piece of paper, write it on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, whatever you're on in your journal. I have a couple. Oh, I have a new journal here. I'm going to show this to everybody. I'm going to write from here. Again, was watching, I have about 20 journals. I was watching an online crystal show. Very bad for me to do these things. And she showed this journal, so I had to buy it. I am a marketer's dream. All you have to do is show me something pretty and I will buy it. All right, I'm going to stop talking. We're going to do some journaling. All right, I'm loving these comments. So I know it hasn't been 10 minutes, but again, I'm like reading all the comments and I'm like, oh, I want to respond. Bethany says, I think it's those expectations that make us unhappy and still looking for what we need externally. Exactly. And, I was doing that a lot. I know a lot of us do, right? We're always looking for that validation. And I was at Caitlin Lee's live the other day. She's an amazing cellist. Her music's so beautiful. And she was talking about, not having an ego. And I was thinking about it because I don't like people with big egos, but I understand where that comes from, right? Because we all kind of want that validation. And when someone's kind of, stroking your ego, that's very validating. I don't mind compliments, but I do mind people who come at me with like, oh, hey, I'm so great. And look at me. And, honestly, I think that's because I have a sister who's like that. Someday she may see this and be like, oh, nice, you were talking bad about me. But it's the truth. She has a huge ego and it bothers me. It's almost triggering for me to be around people with big egos. And I think that's where it comes from. So, sis, if you're watching, forgive me. But it's the truth. And I wouldn't say anything during my lives that I wouldn't say to her because obviously, anybody could be watching this and anybody could hear what I have to say. Hey, John, it's nice to see you. So yeah, I'm curious to know what do you think would change for you if you could be the love of your own life? And was there anybody here who has joined and didn't see the video that I was talking about? It's a really short video. I'm going to play it again. I'm going to force you to watch it again.
But what I tell my daughter is, Genesis, you are the love of your life. You have to start right now to have a radical love affair with yourself, to be in touch with your inner voice, to really be aware when friendships come in and out of your life, what you like, what you don't like, what's crossing the boundaries, what's making you feel bad, what not feel bad, and you honor that. And through that is the seed where everything grows. No one ever told me that. No one ever told me that I was the love of my life. I just counted myself out. If I have to be small in order to build up a relationship, I'll make myself small. If I have to sacrifice my needs for others, that's a big one for women. We are considered stronger when we sacrifice our needs. I said, Genesis, no, do not do that. You are the love of your life. You and you alone.
That's it. Short and sweet. And, that, like I said, that stuck with me. I love what she says. I love everything that she says. And especially someone like me, because I know that I played small a lot for, to make other people feel comfortable or whatever. I even did it with my husband because like the stuff that I do on Inside Timer, he doesn't understand that. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, he's going to think I'm crazy. If he was home, I didn't want to do any lives when he was around because I didn't want him hearing what I was saying. And then I was like, why am I hiding that? Like, why, this is something that I enjoy doing. And I started doing my lives when he was home and he was hearing a lot of the stuff that I was saying and he was fine with it. And if he wasn't, so what? CG says, I love that everything, especially. I'm glad you needed to see that today, CG. I'm glad. Whenever it was that I saw it, I don't remember when the first time was that I saw it, but it was one of those moments where I needed to hear that too. The whole playing small to make other people feel comfortable and, looking for someone else to make you happy. I love that she said to her daughter, you need to be the love of your own life. Like, I wish my mother would have said that to me. I wish she'd say that now. But, that's another story. She's really big on looking for outside validation. And I see that in her. I saw that in her growing up. I saw that my whole life. And, you learn from your environment, right? But it's okay. We're grown up now. We can break away from that. Let me just scroll back up. I want to read some of these beautiful comments. Bethany wrote, my page starts with being the love of my life and ended up being how staying small is the opposite of that. And that's true. That's exactly true. And then Joanne writes, because I am the love of my life, I'm the one who stays when everything else shifts. I'm the one who witnesses, who nurtures, who believes. Yeah, and that's beautiful, Joanne. And I like that, especially because I want to be the one who believes in me. I don't want to look for other people to believe in me. Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw a couple. I have to move my chat. I have two chat boxes because, I do the dual streaming and I didn't want to miss these messages over here. Oh, okay. We have a friend over there who says, saw you live, just stopping by to show love and support. Thank you. And Jenny says, hello. Hello, Jenny. Bethany says, absolutely, whether it was to stay safe or be accepted or make friends or to be unnoticed. And, that whole being unnoticed thing, like I resonate with that so much because I know that a lot of the reason why I played small was because I didn't want to be noticed. I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't comfortable in front of a camera or talking in front of people. Clearly, I'm over that now. But that's part of playing small, right? Like I spent a lot of time hiding. Bex says, I suppose I haven't had the perspective of being the love of my life. I've been told self-love before, but that phrase didn't click. Like to be the love of your life. Yeah, I agree. Self-love is great, and I hear that a lot. But I'm with you. When I heard her say you have to be the love of your own life, I was like, yes, like that clicked. That really clicked. John says, that was hard for me. I didn't hear I love you growing up, even loving myself. John, I think I think you're close to my age, and we're from a generation where that wasn't common. Like my parents never said, I love you. My mom does now. My dad never said that. And sadly, until he was very sick and close to dying, I didn't find the courage to say it to him either. And that's something that's really important for me with my kids. From the get-go, I always made sure I told them that I love them. And, they're grown up now. And we still say, we love you to one another. And I love that. Bethany says, your mom seeks external validation. Does she offer it too? Does she offer it? Bethany, on occasion, she does offer it. My mom is complicated. We have a complicated relationship. Yeah. We'll have to talk about that another day because that would take like another hour to explain. Let's see what else. John says, yep, my dad. Oh, wait. Oh, the comment rolled away. Dad said it once in my life. Yeah. Maisha says, I heard it but didn't feel it or believe I was loved. Yeah. And Maisha, for me, especially with my mother, she does tell me that she loves me, but I feel like her love is very conditional. There's a lot of things she expects me to do for her. And I think growing up, that was part of my issue. I thought that anybody who loved me, I had to do things for them. I had to earn that love, right? And, I still kind of feel that way with my mother. She expects a lot from me and she demands a lot from me. But now I'm a grown up and now I tell her when she's being really pushy and being mean. I actually told her once that I do a lot of things for her. Like I order her groceries. I take care of everything I possibly can. She's 88 years old. She's still sharp. She still lives on her own. And she can be really mean sometimes. And I told her that one day. I said to her, sometimes the way you talk to me really hurts my feelings. She's like, oh, I never realized that I was doing that. And I'm sorry. And it took me like 50 years to be able to say that to her. But it was nice to hear the apology. Bethany says, same with my mom. Z says, sometimes I think it's a trip from the outer to the inner world. That's what life has to offer. Maybe this is connected to age and aging. Yeah. From a newbie thrown into this world, growing up to a person, you becoming you. Z, I agree. I think back to who I was when I was 30 versus now when I'm 60. And I feel like I know so much more. Like I wish I'd known back then half of what I know now because it's really helped me a lot. Jenny, who did I miss here? I see hi, Jenny. Okay, hi, Jenny. John says, was hard when I first got married. Aw, your wife would get mad at you for not saying I love you. My husband says I love you a lot. I think he says it more than I do, which is shocking because I'm a very I love you kind of person. And it's sweet and it makes me happy that he's like that because honestly, I would probably forget. Yeah, John, I knew you meant your wife. CG says, same on the not wanting to be noticed. And it's so strange how I was intentional all of a sudden with being seen. Just one day flipped like a switch. Yes, CG, I get that. That's not like me. I wouldn't have imagined 10 years ago doing, right? Me too. Joanne says, this really pulls at my heartstrings hearing this. I was brought up in a house of such beautiful love. Aw, were you? That's amazing. I always wondered, like I hear people say that sometimes, and I never knew that was a thing. I was like, wow, people can actually grow up in a house with love. Like I just thought everybody was like me. So it's nice to hear that. Your partner and I say that a lot. That's good. I had a thought and it just went away. I need to make notes before I go live because I forget things. John says the same. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my mom, especially now, she says she loves me all the time. Probably because she needs my help, And she got mad at me a couple of weeks ago. I forget why. She hung up the phone on me and I was like, you know what? She'll call me when she needs something. She called me the next day and was like, oh, are you mad at me? I'm not mad at you. And I was like, well, you don't have a reason to be mad at me. I wasn't rude to you. You were rude to me. And then she apologized. And then I'm like, is she apologizing because she means it or, because she needs something? But again, she's 88. She's not going to change. I accept that. I'm fine with it. Bethany says, did I see your comment? Let me scroll back, Bethany. The comment, Bethany, I'm not as quick. There's teachers here who I see reading every comment. I'm like, how the heck do they do that? I miss half of them. So if I missed your comment, let me know. What the heck did you say? Oh, clearly your Kenobi archetype offers you grounding and confidence because you know what you know. I love that. Yes, it does. It does offer me confidence. Although even with as much as I know, I still doubt myself sometimes. I was saying the other day, I still go through this imposter syndrome. I'm like, well, what am I doing here? What am I doing on Inside Timer? Nobody wants to hear anything I have to say, right? And yet you guys are here and you're paying me these amazing compliments. And I'm like, stop doubting yourself already. Just stop it. It's crazy. I have these conversations. I'm a Gemini, and that's where my twins come in. It's like, conversation with the two of us. I'm an imposter. No, you're not. Stop it. Z says, CG, I love that. Feeling comfortable with being seen is huge, at least for me. Yes, and that's what I was going to say before, and I strayed. I think part of my reason for not wanting to be seen was because I also struggled with my weight my whole life. And, what's the easiest thing to do when you're not comfortable with how you're seen, but to try and make yourself be invisible, right? And I recently, my son, I saw my kids this past weekend, and my son has a new girlfriend, my younger son, and I loved her immediately. And hi, Eliyahu, nice to see you. You can't stay, you have to go to sleep. Well, hello, thank you for stopping in. But one of the things that my son's girlfriend and I had in common was that she has struggled with her weight her whole life. And she was saying something to somebody, joking around, and she was kind of making jokes about her weight. And like I wanted to stop her because I'm like, no, don't do that to yourself. I used to do that all the time too. And it was because I was uncomfortable with it. So before anybody could make a joke about it, I would make a joke about it myself. But I obviously wasn't going to say anything to her at the time. But afterwards, I sent my son a message and I was like, she's a doll. I love her. I noticed that my son kind of tapped her when she was making fun of herself, like to stop her. And I said to him, I noticed that. I love that you did that. I said, keep encouraging her to not put herself down. She's a beautiful person. Who the hell cares about the weight? I did that to myself too. I used to make jokes about my weight and put myself down. And, I did it in a joking way, but it was because it hurt, because I was really uncomfortable with my weight. And, you know, people used to tell me, "Oh, it doesn't matter. You're a great person." But I didn't believe it. All I saw was my weight. And obviously now I'm at an age where I don't do that to myself anymore. And she's 22 years old. I'm like, you know, she's got a lot of life to live. And I'm hoping that she will also stop doing that to herself, because we are our own worst critic. Like, it was cold out when I met her that night, and I had an extra sweater in the car, and I offered it to her, and she says, "Oh, nothing that you have is going to fit me." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I gave it to her. It fit her. And not only did I give her the sweater, I told her to keep it, one of my purple sweaters, because I was like, I saw myself that way too. You know, like, she's seeing herself so differently than the rest of us do. And I'm like, "No, my sweater is going to fit you." I knew my sweater would fit her, and it did. And I told her to keep it. It was a beautiful purple sweater. She's a beautiful person. I was like, "Keep the sweater." I have tons of sweaters. Let me read some of the other comments. Maribel says, "Joe," I think she's talking to Joanne. "Joanne, I love your lives." Let's see. CG says, "I'm not a hopeless romantic, and my husband is for a guy." Wow, CG. Okay, I'm a little jealous, because my husband is definitely not a hopeless romantic. I am. So we're the opposite. And my folks express love verbally all the time, but I've never been a hopeless lover. Wow, see, that's awesome. I can't imagine. My parents did not express love verbally all the time. I feel like I am with my kids, but I literally carry them in my body. Yeah, absolutely. That makes a big difference. I get it. And birth them. So love to me is different. Yeah. But with others, even my parents' husband, I love them deeply, but I show love through service. I do too. I do show love through service. But I'm not a physically mushy lover except with babies. I'm more of a thoughtful and intentional lover with acts. We should do a live, CG. Now you got me going, on the love languages, because that's a topic that I love. And, you know, my love language is definitely acts of service and gifts. I love jewelry. My husband knows that. He buys me lots of it now that we can afford it. Bethany says, "And then you realize weight loss is great, but it doesn't fix." Yes, Bethany, I'm glad you added that, because I have gained and lost weight so many times in my life. And I'm talking a significant amount of weight. I'm not talking like, you know, 20, 40, 50 pounds. I'm talking like 100, 150 pounds, believe it or not. I have gained and lost so much weight. And even at my tiniest, I realized that I was still the same person. I still saw myself the same way. It didn't magically make me different, or it didn't magically make me feel better. And I also saw how people treated me. You know, people that I didn't know definitely treated you differently. But like, the people who've always been there for me, who've always loved me regardless, like, they didn't even notice my weight. And that shocked me. Like, it shocked me that they didn't even notice my weight loss. And it finally made me realize, you know what? These people loved me no matter what I weighed. And that's why they reacted the way they did, because they weren't seeing my weight. I was. They were not. And they've always treated me the same. You know, people that I don't know, that's a different story, because, you know, strangers can be a little mean, especially when it comes to weight issues. And when I divorced my first husband, I lost a lot of weight, you know, for myself. And of course, I started getting a lot of attention from men who would have never looked at me before. And that was hard for me, because I wanted to know, and how can you do that without putting on a suit to make yourself look bigger? I wanted to know if these same people would have treated me the same had they known me 150 pounds before. My current husband, fortunately, I know he would, because he's seen me go up and down on my weight many times, and he's never complained. Never said anything. I don't even think he notices it, to be honest. CG says, "You know, I was talking about that today, so perhaps you're right on the love language." Yes, let's do a love language live. I would love that. It's funny, because I feel offended when my service of love isn't valued, and I imagine mushy lovers feel the same. Exactly. That is so true. I try to keep that in mind with my husband, because he's a very his love language is touch. And I am not. I'm like, you know, give me a gift or do something for me, which is funny. So, yeah, it's always good to know your different love languages. We're going to talk. We need to do a live on that. I like that idea. All right, I'm keeping an eye on the time. It's 10 minutes to 5. I have Seba's card there. He's going live in 10 minutes. But I also wanted to mention a couple of things here I want to mention. Next week, I invited Caitlin Lee. She's a relatively new teacher, so you might not know her. I invited her to join us, and she's going to play her cello. And I went to her live, and I loved when she played the cello. I love cello music, first of all. I heard her play, and I was like, oh my God, will you come to one of the Journeying Lives and play your cello? Yes, she's a cellist. She also does sound baths. All right, Bethany, so you know who she is. She also does sound baths, but the cello to me is like, I don't know, it just talks to my heart. CG says, my husband is a touchy lover. And I'm like, yeah, CG, I get that way too sometimes. Like he'll start touching my hair and I'll be like, leave my hair alone, like, which is funny because I'm a real lovey person, but certain things just kind of irritate me. And it's hard for me with him sometimes. I don't want to like push him away and be like, oh, stop touching. John says, oh, wow, almost time to leave work and start the weekend. All right, John, yes. I'm excited for the weekend. Z says, it's funny. My mom is very feminine, also struggling with weight her whole life, and I'm not. But women with her appearance feels like home. So you never know what people think about you. Yeah, exactly. And, for me, meeting my son's new girlfriend, like I didn't see her weight at all until she started making jokes about it. And like it made me look at her because I was like, she's like, I recognize it immediately because it's been my whole life, right? I was like, she's struggling with weight issues. And I met this beautiful person. She sings beautifully too. I have a track of her singing. I'm probably not allowed to share this, but I'm going to anyway because I want you to hear. She's the most beautiful voice. And I was like, you're beautiful, you're talented. She sings like an angel. And I don't want her to worry about her weight. And if I have anything to do with that, she will not. I'm going to play this track. Let me stop Blossom's track.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way.
All right, I just wanted to play that little clip. Right? She's beautiful. She's beautiful. She's got a beautiful voice. If I had a picture, I would show you. You just met her, so I don't want to be like a stalker and be like, hey, let me show you her picture too. I probably should not have shared her track because she says that it was not perfect and it wasn't remastered. She's a musician. And I said, listen, I hang out with musicians on Insight Timer. I get it. I know they want everything to be perfect. I said, but you have an amazing voice. She actually works in a band. They do covers and weddings and things like that. But I was like, man, I wish I could sing like that. Yeah, Frank Sinatra's song, I Did It My Way. Maribel say, yeah, Maribel, this is my son's girlfriend singing that song. I am going to say that. I'm going to say they twisted my arm. I mentioned you during my live. I know that the track was not up to your perfection standards, but I had to show them the beautiful voice that you have. Yeah, she's a beautiful person. Please, I love her already. They've been dating maybe a month. Hasn't been that long. but I have high hopes. I'm cautiously optimistic. I have high hopes for this relationship. But I tend to fall in love with my son's girlfriends anyway, because thank goodness he always picks somebody. Yes, Maisha, meeting the parents after a month, right? He said to me before I met her, he says, Mom, if things go well, I might have somebody for you to meet this week. And I was like, oh my God, tell me all about her. Immediately had to know all about her because I'm thinking if he's bringing her to meet me, she's special to him because I know him. I've only met, well, I met two of his girlfriends, and I did get along very well with both of them. The first one that I met, we had a very similar interest in crystals, but I could tell from the very beginning she had some issues. So I was a little nervous. It didn't end well, and I kind of saw that coming. The second one I also loved, but she had some anger issues that he wasn't willing to deal with. And I said to him, good for you for knowing that, because when I married his dad, who had a lot of anger issues, I wish I had been strong enough to say, you know what, you've got some anger issues you need to work out. I'm not going to stay in this relationship. And that's one of the reasons why my son decided not to, because he had an angry father. And he says after what he went through with his dad, he is not going to accept that from anybody. And I was like, yes, thank you. You know, like I was so proud of him for that, because that's a hard thing to do. You know, his dad had anger issues. I married him anyway. I divorced him. You know, it didn't work out. So I'm proud of him for knowing that. But this girl I love, and you know, she clearly loves my son. We did a lot of talking, she and I, and besides the fact that she's a beautiful singer, she's a beautiful person. So I'm cautiously optimistic. That's all I'm saying. I've been writing this in my journal. I'm manifesting. Nikki says breaking generational trauma. Yeah, absolutely. I was so proud of him for saying that he was not, you know, because I said to him, maybe she can get some therapy. This was the previous girlfriend. When he explained to me what happened, though, like how angry she really gets, I was like, you're right. I still like her as a person, but I'm glad that he chose to walk away from the relationship. They remained friends for a while, and I kind of thought they'd end up getting back together. But he said to me, no, Mom, he says, I value her friendship, but I cannot be in a relationship with someone who has the anger issues that she has. Like she was just explosive sometimes, and that was his dad. And I said, good for you. Bethany says, my son always asks me to meet his parents, his partners. He said, I have a good read on people and trust my intuition. I asked him, you know, I'm divorced, right? Oh, Bethany, that's how we learn though, right? You know, I feel like I have a really, in fact, I told my son he was not allowed to date anybody without me vetting them. I had to give my seal of approval. I mean, I said that as a joke, but I really do feel like that's true. You know, plus we've been through a lot. So you can kind of see, and I saw it even when I was younger. I just ignored it. You know, I married a man who had a really bad temper. I had a father who had a bad temper. I married my father. Now, my father is Puerto Rican. My first husband was Italian, but I always say I married the Italian version of my Puerto Rican father. My father had a bad temper. He was an angry man. And, you know, my Italian husband had a bad temper, was a very angry man. And no matter what I did, no matter how much marriage counseling and therapists, it never changed. So at some point, you have to just say, I'm getting out of this relationship. And I did. Bethany says, I said that too, but it wasn't a joke. Nikki says, you broke the generational trauma too. It runs in the family. Yeah, Nikki, it does. It really does. All right, friends, my hour is up. I could be here talking to you for like the entire day. Maureen says, I had an Italian angry first husband too. Was he Sicilian too, Maureen? Mine was 100% Sicilian. And when that man got angry, the veins would bulge in his neck. We'll talk about that another day. Beck says, thank you. Be well. Yes, be well, everyone. But wait. I'm going to close out with a Matt video. Let's see. What do we have here? What do we want? You know I have to close out with a Matt video. Oops. Let me shut my alarm off. All right. What Matt video am I playing today? I've got them all. Oh gosh, I just can't decide. I love them so much. Oh, I wish we had the manifesting one. I asked him, Nikki, I said, Matt, please make a video of Manifest Your Destiny for me. And he said he will eventually. I'll remind him. He's so good. He gives me all his videos. All right. How about. Oh, he just gave me a new Wow. Bethany says, Violet, Maisha, and I will have to explain the concept of partners being preloaded next time. Yeah, please do. Jess, I'm glad you enjoyed this session. All right, I'm going to play Mita. You still hear Mita? I'm going to play Mita's video. Made for You. How about that one? I'm still here. I'm just going to pop the video on.
Look at the flowers, they were made for you. Look at the stars, they were made for you. Breathe in the air, it was made for you. Hey, look over there, yep, that was made for you too. Look at the frogs and how they leap for you. Look at the birds and how they fly for you. Look at the wind and how it sings for you. Look at the rain and how it cries for you. Look at the sky, look at the sea, and look at the fish that swim beneath. Look at the dogs and cats that give us love and comfort when we need. Look at the birds, look at the bees, look at the plants, look at the trees. Look all across the universe and you will see that it was made for you and me. Look at the sun and how it shines for you. Look at the planets and how they align for you. Seasons come and go like clockwork every year. When Christmas comes around,